Apart from being a significantly successful entrepreneur, Donald Trump is also renowned as a socialite, television personality as well as an author. He rose to fame as a real estate developer and as the CEO and chairman of Trump Organization. Donald Trump is inarguably one of the most interesting and popular personalities in the world today. His rise from a businessman millionaire to the President of the United States of America makes for a potential best-selling book. The stars continue to align for President Donald Trump and his controversial presidency. What does the future hold for President Trump and the White House? Let us hope President Donald Trump works for all Americans, rather than just his base as we move forward into his first presidential term. For the year 2018, the following predictions are revealed. Massive budget cuts. President Donald Trump's team released its first full budget proposal that has been very notable for the knife it takes to domestic programs focused on science and research, the arts and, most notably, social welfare programs. In order to make the proposed cuts, the administration would need to reduce and eliminate dozens of government programs. Here is a brief rundown of what's on the chopping block as provided in the official administration's documents. The Department of Labor will have a 19.8% budget cut. The Department of State and International Aid will face a massive 29.1% budget cut. The Department of Education will face a staggering 13.5% budget cut. The Environmental Protection Agency will face a shocking 31.4% budget cut and many more. On the flip side, defense spending would be upped by about 10% and more than half of the increase in border security funds would be directed toward the construction of a new and replacement border wall. USA-North Korean War. A war between the US and North Korea is looking increasingly likely these days as North Korea has stated that it has developed a more advanced nuclear weapon that has great destructive power with capabilities to reach the USA. In recent weeks, the desperate nation has attempted several missile launches and threatened Guam, an American territory in the Western Pacific. Earlier on Saturday, Kim Jong-un continued his war of words with U.S. President Donald Trump across international waters, claiming any attempts by the puppets to locate North Korea's ballistic missile launchers will not produce any useful result. Trump's administration has vowed that all options were still on the table following an earlier threat by the president that the U.S. would retaliate with fire and fury if provoked by North Korea. The Republican also tweeted, "The U.S. has been talking to North Korea and paying them extortion money for 25 years. Talking is not the answer." In recent months, President Trump and the North Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, have amplified their country's military standoff by exchanging bellicose statements and personal insults through Twitter. Obamacare repealed. Despite Republicans' inability to repeal Obamacare, President Donald Trump and some conservative leaders have not given up on calling for renewed efforts to repeal or reform the law. After tax reform, Republicans could adopt another budget resolution next year that provides reconciliation instructions to repeal and ultimately replace Obamacare. On Twitter, Trump has been vocal about his intentions to continue reforming healthcare. Americans need an alternative to the mainstream media, but this can't be done alone. However, in a July 28 Senate vote, 3 Republicans, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Susan Collins of Maine, and John McCain of Arizona, blocked what lawmakers dubbed the skinny repeal of Obamacare. Trump stated that the most likely chance for Obamacare repeal right now is for tax reform to pass this winter, pass a new budget resolution in the spring, and then completely repeal Obamacare in the summer of 2018. Trump tweeted Tuesday that he would be using his executive powers to address Obamacare regulations. Mueller to indict Trump. The Office of Special Prosecutor Robert Mueller has made public details of an indictment resulting from Trump's probe into Russia's alleged election meddling. According to reports, a development that sharply escalates the stakes for Donald Trump and his administration. While Mr. Mueller has yet to make any public comment on possible charges, it was reported that a grand jury in Washington, working with the prosecutor, had approved the first charges to result from the ongoing probe, which has looked at possible collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. The reports have not specified what the charges are or who they are to be filed against. But the stakes for Trump are even higher. As much as the president likes to claim that the special counsel's work is a ruse and that he's not personally implicated in the fact-finding mission. If Trump were to fire Mueller, the response would go far beyond a polite discussion of the separation of powers. It would trigger outrage among the president's opponents, dismay his remaining allies in Congress, and accelerate calls for impeachment. But whether Mueller is likely to tell us whether or not Team Trump, wittingly or unwittingly, was a co-conspirator or not, the president could be guilty of obstruction of justice. Possible Trump impeachment. President Donald Trump should keep his eyes on the 2018 midterm elections, according to one conservative writer, because he'll be impeached if Republicans don't hold on to majority control of the House of Representatives. The plain political issue is Democrats need 24 House seats to take the House back in 2018. The table is being set pretty nicely for them to get that number. And if they get that number or 10 more than that number, Trump will become impeached indefinitely. Suggestions of impeachment have been frequent during Trump's brief but tumultuous tenure in the White House. House Democrats even filed articles of impeachment last month, but they stand little chance of going anywhere, since Republicans have a majority. The president's involvement in the ongoing investigation into his administration's connections to Russia has reportedly worried some advisors. Obstruction of justice has long been considered an impeachable offense. Trump border wall. Although approval for a new border wall has yet to come, the Trump administration has taken subtle steps to be able to seize land to build one as early as 2018. House Republicans have recently stated that they've included $1.6 billion in funding for President Trump's border wall in their new Homeland Security spending bill, setting up a fight with Democrats who have vowed to block any wall funding, even if it means sending the government into a partial shutdown. The bill includes 28 miles of levee wall along the Rio Grande Valley, also in Texas, and 14 miles of replacement fence in San Diego. It also adds 500 new Border Patrol agents, 1,000 more agents and officers for U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement operations, and provides enough money to maintain 44,000 detention beds. That's a massive increase over the Obama years, and Trump officials said it will allow them to detain and deport illegal immigrants faster and with a higher success rate. He did say one thing new to our ears. He threatened a government shutdown if obstructionist Democrats try to prevent the wall from being built. Trump stated, "We are building a wall on the southern border, which is absolutely necessary. Now the obstructionist Democrats would like us not to do it, but believe me, if we have to close down our government, we're building that wall." Let's see what the future reveals.
We're going to build the wall. We have no choice. We have no choice. Build that wall. 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 Build that wall.
We got to remember, America was built on immigrants. Are you kidding me? America's greatness comes from its diversity. That's what gets put in danger when we put somebody like Trump that can turn the needle more towards the fascist side than anyone we've ever seen in any time.
We need to build a wall, and it has to be built quickly.